Good afternoon, folks. It's your mail away George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. And folks, I have a very special guest, a very lovely lady, a two-time Olympic competitor, and one Miss Jennifer Sedia. Hello, Miss Sedia, and welcome to the live stream.
How you doing? Hi, thank you.
One thing is your accent. Where is your family background?
So I was born in New York City in the Bronx,
Boogie
and
down Bronx.
yes. So and then at a young age, I my parents divorced, and my mom being Puerto Rican, dad's Italian, mom's Puerto Rican. She moved to Puerto Rico. So I did the back and forth, mom with dad, with mom. So I grew up in New York City, in the Bronx, and in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's a beautiful mix, Puerto Rican and Italian. You're Cuban.
Yeah, right. They call you know what they call us? New
What?
Yorkers.
New Yorkers, yeah. Well, I think some of the most beautiful Puerto Rican women I know, I call them pecan Ricans.
Yes, that's good.
So anyway, the big question I ask is, how did you get into bodybuilding?
So, I remember from a very young age, I remember being with my dad in New York, walking into what we call a candy store. It's just a store where they sell drinks and cigarettes and
A bodega.
yeah, kind of something like that, and magazines, and staring at the Muscle and Fitness and opening it up. I probably was like 6 years old and just staring at the women with muscles. And I always wanted to do that. And I remember working out. I didn't know probably what I was doing, but I remember doing squats and push-ups and all of that because I wanted to develop muscle. And I wanted to compete, but I never even knew how to get involved in it until my early 30s when I started competing, because I moved to Texas and I worked out at a gym where there was competitors.
Yeah, because Texas to me is coming like a big mecca for bodybuilding. I know some ladies who are out of Texas, like Vicky Gates. I know you knew Vicky Gates back in the day. There's a lady who I become friendly with, Miss Brittany Big Lemony Brooks. She's from there. Mila Ash. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of women living in Texas. It's becoming back in the day. California was the big bodybuilding mecca, and I would say Florida, but Texas is becoming a mecca. A lot of people live there.
And there's good quality competitors here. Like it's good quality. So,
Yeah. And the thing is, what was that feeling when you first hit the stage, when you first competed?
That first show kind of was like just to try it. People, I just want to try it. And it was pretty emotional because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Even though at that point I still didn't know what I was doing. We were trying to figure it out, a bunch of people in the gym but it was so much fun. As soon as I stepped foot on that stage, I felt that passion and that enjoyment, and I was like, everything was so natural that I said, this is what I love. This is what I was born to do.
Yeah, and you, like I said, you got your pro guard in 2008. Then you did
Seven.
2007. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because you took a year off. Some competitors take a year off before they start competing in the next show. And then you did the New York Pro was your first show.
No, so let me tell you, my first show was 2004, which was Lubbock, the Lubbock show, an NPC Lubbock show.
Mm-hmm.
I got I got national qualified at my second show, was in Plano, Texas, in 2005. In 2006, I went to my first nationals in Vegas, and I got second place. 2006, I did nationals in Miami, and then 2007, I went back to Vegas and I won my pro card. So that was my fourth show, and I won my pro card.
Mm-hmm.
2008, I did the Europa in Dallas.
Okay.
And my pro debut, and I won it, and I got qualified. And 6 weeks later, I was at the Olympia stage. So it was real fast.
And I remember that, because that was when it was like after they started changing the criteria. Because one point they was trying to, and then they took and moved all the shows to Vegas. Because it used to be the Mr. Olympia was kind of separate from all the, we had Mr. Olympia being one time, and then Mr. Olympia the other time, and then I think about 2000 they put both shows together. And I remember that show because one of my favorite bodybuilders in that show, Miss Rosemary Jennings. I'm a big fan of Rosemary, and also some great legends that competed that show. But I remember a while back, a friend of mine sent a video, and it was like a video. It was you on stage with Gina Pepperone and Rosemary, and you fainted. And what was that feeling?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how?
So that was my first Olympia, and that was my pretty much like my fifth or sixth show. And I was so nervous, and a lot of people immediately start thinking, oh, she did something, but
Hmm.
I was holding my breath as I was posing. And
Hmm.
those hot lights from that stage, they have to light it up because it's the Olympia.
Yeah,
And I was posing hard and holding my breath. I wasn't breathing,
we doing it.
and I remember just passing out.
Oh
And
yeah, because I saw videos. They had the guys that carry you off, and I mean that's just. And I've seen this because people don't think about this. This happens quite often with competitors, 'cause especially the hot lights, and then also you're prepping, you're dieting, you try to put aside extra fluids in your body, and that really can put. I remember I saw a video one time. It was a few years ago, and it was a show. It was I think it was a show that Heather Foster was competing at. It was the Nationals, and they saw in the back. It was Michelle Tuggle. She was sitting off the side. We were our auction there.
oh wow, yeah.
Yeah,
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 but that's all it was. I was posing hard. Your first Olympia, posing hard, nerves, not breathing. As you posing, and my coach taught me down long. You pose, you breathe. I wasn't taught that at that point at my first Olympia. But then when I met Don, that's one big thing that he taught me was to make sure you're breathing as you posing, and keeping those abs tight. But I was just posing and holding my breath, and I went out. And
yeah.
we cut water and all of that, but
Mhm.
I wasn't sick. They took me backstage. The EMT came and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna give you an IV." I said, "You better not. I'm getting back on stage. You better not give me no IV."
Yeah, and you finished it. What was the? I think you were in the top 10, or was the
I was 10th. Yeah.
10th? You're 10th, yeah. And that was like I said. That's tough. So go against Iris. I mean, Iris is just. I think Iris. I think Debbie Leninsky with that show, and I think
Yes.
I'm trying to remember who else was that show. I know.
Oh,
Was that
Betty
Jimmy?
Parisa was
Betty
there.
Pariso, yeah, Betty was huge. Betty was
Yeah.
no, and also I know Rosemary Jennings, and I think Lisa Ackland and
Yeah, she
Kitty
she had a
Pepperone.
beautiful physique, and Rosemary was there. What was her name? Oh my gosh, from Miami.
Yaxini, Yaxini,
Jackseni
yeah,
was there.
yeah, Yaxini, yeah.
The other girl that lives in Miami, that had a beautiful physique. She actually won Olympia one year.
I think that was Yaxini.
Atkins.
Atkins. Oh, Heather, was it Betty Viviana Atkins?
Yes, Viviana.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think she
yeah,
won. I think she won the lightweight when they still
yeah,
had the weight classes.
yeah.
But
She was there, and I remember because she helped me prep my food. Like I didn't have a microwave, and she helped me with a little hot stove deal. I mean, everybody was so amazing. I was so impressed.
yeah, that's a great show. Here we got our brother Marcus Bell. He says salute to all the way George Page coming through, smashing that like, and hello, Miss Jennifer. He says hello. Also, folks, while you're here, like, comment, subscribe. Reach out to Miss Sedia if you're interested if you're in the Texas area, you want to work out because she's a coach and an instructor. But here's my rule, fellas: no D pics, you sick freak. Don't be
That's right.
respectful. Be respectful to a lady like this. Be
Yes.
respectful. And
Yes.
I tell this because I know a lot of these guys. It's one thing about being a female bodybuilder is that the fact is not only being harassed by guys for the fact of you being in having muscle, but also there's like a level of sexual harassment because a lot of guys are saying weird stuff to you, and that's not it's not cool. That's not cool.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you get a lot of that. We get a lot of that. We know how to deal with it, and it's okay. I'm not a weak-minded person, so I could deal with it, but still, you get more being respectful than disrespecting.
Yeah, because you're not no squeaking violet, but the same thing is no one want to see some guy's little short midget. No one want to see your Teletubby. No one want to see that because the fact is these are women. They're athletes. They're wives, mothers. They're instructors, and it should be respectful. I know when I talk with a lot of these ladies, they often have guys who are like, she got too much muscle. Why I want to be a man? Yeah, and the fact is, you're not being a man. You're in a sport that's considered very masculine, and you're not trying to be something that you are. You're a woman who's an athlete, and I
Yeah.
gotta respect you for that. Now, this is one thing. J M20 2021. Hey Jennifer, he says hello.
Hey, hi.
Yeah, because you get some fans here. Some people like I said, like to talk to the ladies who's been in the game as well as you were. And now after, as you know, in 2014, as I said again earlier, how the IFBB walked quietly behind your division, stabbing the heart and dropped Miss Olympia. I was talking to the lady we were talking about earlier, Mandy Pope. She said that, why didn't you go up to women's physique?
I did actually. When I started competing, the only two categories there were figure and bodybuilding
Yeah,
and fitness
fitness. Yeah, fitness. Yeah,
for women. So I was too big
for
for
figure.
for figure, so I went to bodybuilding. As soon as uh, physique came available, I remember Don, my coach, saying, "You really need to move to that." But at that point, I was already like prepping, I think, for a show, and already had the mask. So I said, well, maybe next time. And then after that, which was my last Olympia, which was 2014, um, in my last show, in my last Olympia, also, then I decided, I need a little break, and I need to live a little bit, because I was so focused, living for 10 to 11 years, competing, focus. I forgot what it was to really kind of sit at a restaurant and have a meal at a restaurant, or how to go to a movie theater, or to go to a wedding, because I wouldn't allow myself to go to any events or activities, just
Hmm.
because I had to stay focused. And I had to try and live a little bit too.
Yeah, I know. I talked to some ladies about that. That's one thing is it makes us sacrifices because of this sport, and then also missing out on things like going to weddings. I know sometimes some ladies will go to the wedding, but then they bring their own food, and it's just so much because and you just can't like do like everybody else. Like this afternoon, I had to do some laundry, some stuff like that. I got a burger and fries, came home, that was it. But that's so much sacrifice you put in for the sport.
Yeah.
We are here, Jay, 2021. Nice to see you. And also, Jay saying, what does Jennifer think about the bikini division and the wellness division of the IFBB personally? What you think about those two new divisions?
Oh, I think they're beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. At the beginning, I was a little critical, just because I was so hardcore and into bodybuilding, but I think it's a beautiful thing. I coach bikini competitors in wellness, and they have to work hard. It's all on the ethics, the work ethics of the person. A lot of people say, "Oh, bikini girls don't have to work out." Yes, they have to work out, and they have to work out hard. I coach them, and you know what? If you don't work out hard, you're not gonna get far, and you're not gonna see good results. And if you work out hard, you're gonna take it far and see great results. I think they all every category is beautiful and admirable in its own way. Just like every person is beautiful and admirable in its own way. And everything in the world, we have to find, the beauty, and maybe not criticize it, just find, okay, well, maybe I don't like it, but some people like it. But I love it. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, because I know you. I was doing research on you. I saw you train other competitors, especially in the divisions. And me coming up, I was kind of a hardcore fan. I used to get into bodybuilding because my older brother used to play football, and he used to get the muscle mags. And I used to. My favorite guys were like Lee Heaney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Colombo. Those guys were. And then I saw y'all women, and I was like a teenager. I think I'm about 12, 13, and then it just kind of blowed my pubescent mind. It was with muscle, and people like Bev Francis and Corey Everson's, just so many great legends that came from that year when I was coming up. And because in fact, the big thing was the most popular show was coming out was He-Man. It was a cartoon, great
I
cartoons.
remember.
Yeah, there was Thundercats, I look at y'all ladies like superheroes. Y'all, you do what you do, and I try to do my content on my YouTube channel. I try to focus a lot more on y'all ladies because what the guys. If you look on social media, especially on YouTube, there's 2011 million channels dedicated to men, but only so few. There's guys like myself. There's FBC, FBC channel, which is AJ and JB. There's a DD on the spot, and also this guy named Mark Max Muscle. And he does maybe once in a while a little something on women's bodybuilding. Most do men, but he inspired me to do this idea because a while back I did a comparison video. I think you've seen that between you and Sherry Smith. And even though y'all both different, you were both amazing shapes, and and just I want to give y'all women recognition for your hard work and commitment.
Thank you. Yes, like perfect example, Sherry Smith. Isn't she like a fire girl, fire
Yeah,
woman?
firefighter. Yeah,
I mean, you imagine doing all of that work, and then after work doing your workouts and doing your diet and prepping your food and going to, I had a job too. I used to be a health back then. When I was competing, I used to be a health inspector. So I had to go and inspect restaurants and look at all that good food. In the meantime, I couldn't have any of it.
yeah. Because I know like some ladies like it'd be like it'd be like the carbs and stuff. Like especially somebody eating a good steak, and then you act like Pookie from New Jack City. Be calling you, man. Be calling
Oh
you.
my
Be
gosh,
calling
how
you, man.
funny.
You be calling my name, man. Just like that's the thing about food. You just don't eat food just to feed the machine, but sometimes it's a joy to eat food every now and then. Uh, Once again, Jay, 2021, we didn't have women's physique and women's bodybuilding this year at the Arnold Classic. Does that worry you that this trying to exclude it permanently because it's too out of control? And that's the thing is, I didn't want to talk about. I used to, like I said, I used to love the Arnold Classic. And then when it cut out Miss International, and then I say, yeah, then now it just cut out physique totally. And I saw a video from backstage at the show, and the figure, some of the figure and the fitness girls, they look like they could like switch up to the division. I mean,
Yeah,
especially Ariel Kadir, there's Missy Trescott, and and Anja Jong. I mean, those women are just you would think, I think they would probably need some of them need better switch over.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? It's all in the judges' hands. They in control. They in control of it. I don't know. I don't know. If they cut these divisions because of getting out of control, because the judges have the control. You know, um, or there's maybe more to it than I don't even can even imagine or know about. They say politics, this, that. I don't know. I could think and assume, but I really don't know. There's some of the girls wanted to make a big change, but it's not in our hands. There's bigger people up there in charge that in control that they're the ones who can make the change. We can't do nothing. What are we
Mhm.
gonna do if we say something? Then we in a bad name. So I really don't know things like that. Sometimes I think there's more to it, because if the divisions are getting out of control, like you said, figure is looking at now like physique. Then who controls that? they
Mhm.
they have standards. There's a standards for everything. Then hold your standards. I remember when I was competing, I had hope because they were saying, oh, we don't want girls with striations, we don't want girls with veins, we don't want, and they still picked them. They
Mhm.
still picked them. My last Olympia, I came in, I felt like I looked real good, and they ended up picking a couple of girls that had a bunch of striations, a bunch of, out of hand stuff, no symmetry. But who picked them? The
The
judges did.
judges. Yeah,
So
because I know there was a show a while back was the last year's New York Pro and Lale's Incoming Condition. Then there was a show where it was the Linda Norfolk and the woman who wasn't even was Ladala Day. She wasn't looking as good condition, but she got first place compared to the top three of that show, which was Janine Likowski, who I've become friendly with, and also Nikki Chartrand. And I know that last Olympia, Alina took second, but if they wanted to, they could have gave the title to Alina, and you had a new Miss Olympia, you keep Iris out of the way, and then you had the Miss Olympia you wanted, and then you could kept on going with Miss Olympia.
yeah. Yeah, it's I never had hard feelings. I never walked out of no show saying, this is unfair. You know what? Because it's the name of the game. You do it. You do it for your passion. Winning is just icing on the cake. But
Yeah,
you do it. I knew I was little, too little to be competing against Iris. you know. And but you know what? That's my choice. That was my
Mhm.
choice. I competed because I love to show. I love to work out. I love the discipline of dieting and going hard and extreme and getting on stage and performing. If I did good, that was just icing on the cake. I just loved every minute of it. Never walked away saying that was an unfair call.
Yeah,
It
you.
is what it is. It's part of the game. You know what? You go home, you have your cheat meal, you get back on track again and keep working and grinding and doing what you love to do because of the passion of it.
That's why I like these Puerto Rican women. They got passion. They just got fire. That Italian, that Puerto Rican together. That is just that
That's
is just,
right.
yeah. Italian. I mean, Kuma stars. And that's the thing is like the one thing we talk about how is I used to do a Sunday discussion how we talk about how about some ladies and we talk about how the thing in the sport is how it's changing. How one thing is that even though you're not considered in the mind of everybody else as athletes, you are athletes,
Yeah.
and being a competitor, it's expensive. As I talk about the cost of is, when you coming up by that tail end, they start changing things. Like you used to have just like maybe two posing suits, and one was just like nothing too fancy. But then now you have to wear the posing suits that cost you about a couple of $1,000. The cost of food, training, taxes. That's the one thing that kills everybody. Travel to
Yeah.
these shows. And women like you and all the other ladies, you put in so much hard work in it, and you don't get as much consideration as you do the male counterparts.
Yeah.
As you know, the last Olympia, when they brought back Miss Olympia after almost like 6-7 years, when Andrea Shaw won, she won $50,000 compared to Big Ramy, who won nearly $500,000. And
Yeah.
that is crazy. I mean, you would think. I know the sponsors; they put the money into the shows. It shouldn't. I think one thing. I was talking with some ladies and some friends that one thing should happen is I think Miss Olympia. I knew when the last Miss Olympia, I think Iris got 25,000. That's why she was dipping in both Miss Olympia and Miss International
Yeah.
because it's And if I think like this, you ladies should get paid for your time. I mean, some shows the most you get for first place if it's not Olympia is like $5,000-6,000, and that you're just working in the red most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. That is true. But again, um, who's gonna change that? We could stand up and say and do and whatever, but um, who's gonna change that?
Hmm.
Nobody's gonna change it, and we still gonna compete because we love it. We're
Hmm.
doing it because of the passion and the love, and we get what we get. But I mean, things should change. Yeah, things should change, but who's gonna change them?
Yeah, because I know when you were competing, when you got your pro card, how much was it back then?
I didn't get nothing when I got my pro card. I got two
How much
big
it,
trophies.
how much it cost to get your pro card? That's what I was talking about.
Oh, so you get your pro card, and then when you're gonna compete, you have to pay. It was like $400 to get on
What?
stage. Oh, back
What?
then, this was when I did my first pro show as a pro, which was 2008, the Europa. It was $400 to get my pro card. Yes, yeah,
That's like a insurance on a that's a car payment, and
yeah,
that $400 what should do like I was talking about how this that when you put in this like this you like technically you're like almost part of a union. And what should happen is that that $400 should go into like health insurance. It should go to a pension. It should go to something that you can use. But what it does happen is the Ifbb kids take that money. And one thing is it costs I think a lot more for amateurs because they have to pay an interest fee, and that's the thing that kills them.
yeah.
The between and it's just here we got here J 220 2021. Yeah, they're feisty Latino women. He loves it, and he's going like $400. I mean, that is. I know. Some ladies say that. I think now it's changed to I think about $300 now, something
Oh,
like that. And it's just that's the thing is, it costs you more. It's like a guy who come friendly with Mr. Big Keith Williams. He says that bodybuilding is more of a hobby sport
yeah,
compared to if you look at the mainstream sports. And then also your sport gets finger pointed because you're on steroids, you're taking this, you're taking that. But then if you look at the other mainstream sports, there's a lot more drug usage. It wasn't that long ago. The Major League Baseball, the government had a congressional hearing on Major League Baseball. Where all these players taking steroids,
yeah,
steroids, and even like a lady who I become acquainted with, she told me that steroids even in ballerinas, ballet dancers take steroids.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Triathlonist. I heard triathlonists. Oh my God, I heard this and I about died. That triathlonists take Viagra. I was like, oh my God. Wow.
What? That's supposed to be keep your meds.
Right. I don't know what's the theory behind that, but whatever,
You gotta
Like,
think about you riding that bicycle and you wearing those short shorts. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, I couldn't. I can't remember last time I wore that bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, ballerinas take steroids. Really? Yeah. Jay, there's because they got to do a lot of standing on their toes, and and sometimes, especially the guys, they got to lift the girls. So you ever see this ballerina? They're very, even though they look petite, they're very. I think some of them look like maybe a level of maybe a figure or a fitness girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this is the thing is about now that as Miss Olympia came back, and then thanks to Wings of Strength, like I'm a big fan of Wings of Strength, and now you have a new Miss Olympia, Andrea Shaw. Now, how you feel about the new Miss Olympia?
I think she's beautiful. She's beautiful. I mean, I love her physique. I mean, but the thing is, there's so many beautiful physiques out there too. But I like her physique because it flows. It's so symmetric. It's round. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me of, I think you remember Audrey Harris White. She has a same look like Audrey. If she kind of reminds me of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, if you look at women's physique, Sarah Vigas, I call her and Sarah the gold standard in women's bodybuilding now, because recently Sarah just announced that she's putting up $50,000. I think no, $15,000 for a show in Texas. I think it's supposed to be the Texas Pro, and I think it's supposed to be coming in this summer, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
I kind of read that somewhere. Yes.
And also, I think a friend told me that also she's put up some money for the Pittsburgh Pro Masters too for women's physique. And, she put her money in her mouth. Jay 2021 says Andrea Shaw for some reason reminds me of Simone Biles. Yeah, I think she got a
a little bit. Yeah, her face.
Yeah. You look at them like they could be, if not cousin sisters from the same tribe. Now, if you like this, if you could change bodybuilding, from what it was to is now, what would you like to see change? What would you, as a former competitor, as a coach and instructor, what would you like to see?
I would like to see, where they have a definition of what it should look like, stick to it, and I mean judge to what it says on there. If it says no striations and not whatever, I can't remember word by word, but no striations, no out of proportion muscle, stick to that. But they don't, it's sad. I don't say it for me. I say it for, because I haven't competed since 2014, but I say it for the upcoming. Just stick to those standards and maybe have, like, I think back in the day they had more of at the pro level, because women's bodybuilding at the pro level, they don't separate lightweight and heavyweight, but maybe they should have, like the men's have the
212
to 12, and then why don't we get that same treatment? We should get that, because just a perfect example, on stage, the most that Don got me on stage was at like 132. That was my last show, which was my last Olympia, and that was pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still competing against girls at 145, 150 maybe or more. So why don't they have a smaller division? And then they say, well, that's what women's physique is for, but they made it a separate division, so.
Yeah, because I know years ago, when after that last Miss Olympia back in '99, they had to do the weight classes. And I remember I always say was a mess to me when they split it. They had two champions in 2000. I felt like Andrew Bichette should have been champion. I think what it did was with Valentina, she was the champion that the IFB wanted to see, and Drew was a champion that the fans wanted because Andrew was amazing. No,
Oh
I have no knock against Valentina. I think Valentina was the precursor for women's physique, but to me, Andrew was a really a pure female bodybuilder.
yeah.
And after that, I think when Linda came back, that after that last Miss Linda performance, that's when they dropped it because I know that was that year. That's when Yaxini won in 2004 because they want to get away from something. They gave Yaxini, and then Iris comes back and wins it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. Sarah Vigas' best pose is her crucifix arm pose, and yeah, Sarah Vigas, she has a great physique. I think Sarah's physique is kind of that of maybe the women back in I think the late '90s, and early 2000s.
Yeah.
And also Jay said he had a crush on Valentina. Just say it.
How funny.
Yeah, that's so funny. Now, like I said, we don't want to hold it too long because Miss Seda, she's a busy lady. She has things to do. She's a coach. She does that. Plus,
I
but
just opened 2 months ago. Opened a gym, so I'm here at the gym. I just opened this gym 2 months ago, so it's been a change of lifestyle.
so where's your gym at? Because if anybody who's in the area interested, want to come
It's
by and
in
maybe train.
Lubbock, Texas. In Lubbock, Texas.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Uh,
called Infinity Training and Wellness.
uh-huh. That's pretty good. And that's the thing is, a lot of you ladies, some of you transition from being on the stage to being behind the stage, being a coach and trainer. What was that when you got into the training? What was that feeling? When you first, coaching your first competitor and being a.
It's a feeling of accomplishment. I like to give. I like to give. That's why I do it because I love the fact that I had some dreams and I made them happen and some people helped me. Um, and like my first coach was Bonnie Priest and she was amazing.
But I think Body had one of the
Yeah.
greatest set of abs in the
Yes.
her, Roxana Edwards, Asher Hadley, also Krista Bach, Annie Rivicchio. Those
Yes.
ladies had those their abs were like you can take their abs and you can use them as a washboard.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
and we still good friends. She lives about 3.5 hours from here. But anyways, you know, to coach somebody else and say, hey, you can do this too, because a coach plays it's not only get on stage, how to eat, prep you for a show. It's more a lot of mental stuff. Just like what Don Long did and his wife for me, they changed my life. They changed my mind.
I think I remember I heard that name Don Long. I think he used to compete too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I think I heard that name because guys like him, and those are guys. I think one of the thing is, I think the guys who are not superstars are the better trainers and coaches. Like if you go like in basketball, Michael Jordan not gonna make a great coach, but someone like Scottie Pippen or maybe someone like a couple of guys who they were stars but weren't like superstars.
Yeah.
Sometimes make better coaches. And the thing is about this sport is a tough sport. You have to really understand the sacrifices you make,
Yeah.
the hard work you got to put in. And for you women, it's a lot harder for you because
Yeah.
society is not comfortable with the idea when we're muscle.
Yeah.
And it's just you have to respect you because, like I said, and yes, there's also guys who are fascinated by it.
Yeah.
There's this a Smo saying where
Yeah.
so because what God says like when you ladies are rock hard, we'll rock hard, and that's just
Yeah.
it's
Oh
just
yeah.
about it. It's just a it's a beautiful presentation of the human
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. There's a lot of sacrifice because our muscle doesn't come as easy for us like men do because we fighting our female hormones, and then we don't have as much as the testosterone male hormones. Of course, there's the option of supplementing with it, but it's hard. We're fighting, and then you if you start messing with that, then there's another triggers and a bunch of other stuff that happens. So we always fighting. We're fighting that. But we make it happen. I think I believe. I don't think I believe that women in the sport, mainly bodybuilding and like physique, I think it's a whole different mindset. It's a very strong mindset to have to take it as the extreme that we have to with diet and all the cardio and the workouts and also have a job, and I know some of them are even moms. Like I never had children, but that I admire women that have jobs, have to do all the workouts, diet the way we have to, and then be a mom too, and that's some serious business.
Yeah,
You
because I
know?
think when right about the early, I think it was only a few women I can remember that were also mothers and competitors, like Betty Pariso, Krista Bach, Diana Dennis, Vicky Gates. I mean, they were, working and competing and also raising children.
Yes.
And there's a lot more. I think the last few years, there's a lot more women who are in the sport. Usually, they had the kids before they got into it. There's been a few women who had the kids while they're competing, like Alicia Young. I know she had her daughter, and she was still at a level of a bodybuilder. But some, and that's the thing is that as women, it's your nature to bear young units. And I think a lot of women have that. When you make that decision to be a competitor, you have to understand what sacrifice you're making. There's sometimes some women after they retire eventually have the kids. I know Kim Zavetsky, she had two boys. I think a couple of ladies who retired have some, but then that's a sacrifice you make. And also, like I said, your parents, like is your mother and parents, your mother father still around?
Oh yes.
Yeah. And what was it like when your little girl was all buffed up and bigger than dad, and
Yes.
bigger your
Well,
poppy?
my it cracks me up because my mom always says, I always wanted a little cute girl to put little bows and little cute dresses, and you would rip your bows off and go and put jeans and shorts and go and play basketball and go lift weights. And I'm like, yep.
And you have a sister, right?
No, I don't. I have two brothers.
Two
I have
brothers. Oh,
a brother
uh,
in the Bronx, New York,
uh-huh.
and I have a brother in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So you got one brother back in the boogie down, and you got one brother over there in Puerto Rico. That's like.
Yes.
And what was that like growing up? Because I grew up with me. I'm like the youngest out of nine. My father has me and my mother had together had seven, and then he had two children before my mother, after my mother, and I'm like the middle son. And that's the thing is you growing up with the brothers, and they how they treat you, like you were their punching bag, or who was
Oh
the oldest?
no. I was always, so I had to take care of my brothers. Like
Oh, so you're the
even
oldest.
though I have an older brother, but he had a little learning disability, nothing serious, nothing bad out of hand, but I had to be his guide, watch over him, because kids would make fun of him at school and pick on him because he was in what they used to call it special ed or something like that.
Hmm.
So I had to watch over him and fight kids that were making fun of him. And then the younger brother had to be, help him too, because my mom would work. So I had to, take care of him, teach him, sit and do homework with him and do my homework too. So I'm still the boss.
Yeah. I can imagine you were like, imagine if you were the bodybuilder back then, fighting your little brother, say, "You miss my brother." Say, "Oh no, 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 no,
And
Jenny, no,
I
Jenny,
did. I
no,
did because
yeah."
I was tough then and still now.
You were Jenny from the block.
Yes.
That's the thing is it was Jenny from the block. And like I said, we're not gonna hold you up too long because, like I said, I enjoy conversating with ladies like you, like like people I've been acquainted with, like Miss Nancy Lewis, because I know you and Nancy were Sarah Shades together. There's Wendy Krasmere, rest in peace. She was a great charisma. She was a great lady, and Sue Price is. I love talking to you ladies. I also love talking to up and comers like Rashawn Boswell, Tina Olick, also Tina S. Williams. I mean, just amazing ladies where I get to know you, and I'm getting to learn a lot because I'm just as a fan. I was just knowing stuff I know, but this is stuff I'm really learning from when I'm doing this content. And you ladies really made a lot of sacrifices to
Yeah.
get here and to do what you do.
Oh,
You have to respect that.
yeah. Yeah, but it's a choice too. It's a choice, but it's a choice, but I think, like I said before, whenever we choose it and we take it as far as we do, because a lot of people choose to do it, but they stop along the way because it's too hard. And then when you continue to go and then reach, like, the Olympian stuff like that, which is people's dreams, then it's a choice. I made a choice to do it, and I stuck through it, and I kept going and going no matter what came in my way. And I loved every minute of it. At the times, there were times, I remember there were times that, because I would drive to go do inspections at restaurants, and I would stop on the side of the road and call my mom crying. And my mama always told me, you know what, you in this deep, you better keep going. She always told me that. She didn't My mom wasn't like a, she's not, because she's still around and she's still the same way. Oh, come here, little girl, come on. Oh, no, no. She's like, you better man up and get going. You better. And because the way she was with me, I didn't quit, never, even though when there was hard times when I would be prepping. Because let me tell you, a lot of people don't know that those years that I competed, especially at the beginning of my career, those were the toughest times of my life, the hardest times of my life, because of a lot of circumstances that I went through a bad divorce. I lost everything, my house, my car, furniture, even my job. And it wasn't something that I did. It's just the job. I got offered a job in Dallas, and then so I quit my job here in Lubbock, and then I get to Dallas. It was in 2008 in the recession, and I get to Dallas and there's no job. So I'm over there in Dallas going, what is going? And I was prepping for Miss Olympia, my first Olympia. I still prepped for Miss Olympia. I made it happen. I didn't find an option say, oh, I can't make it, I'm gonna sit over here and cry. No, you keep going. Yeah. You know what? You keep going. You make it happen.
Yeah,
And anyways, so
yeah,
it was
because
a choice.
I was raised by a single mom, and she kicked our tails. She spoiled my younger brother and my two older nephews because they was her babies. But yeah, it's just so much as because you were out there, you make that sacrifice, you lost your job, you lost this, your husband, he whatever reason, he didn't want to be. I mean, it's just that's the thing is that like when you have somebody they should be standing by you, thick and
Oh,
thin. But
no.
if you feel like if tough gets tough and you want to walk away, then like there's that old song, I'd rather be alone than to be unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But George, now I look back and I go, that was the best thing that happened to me, because at that point it was either sit and cry and be nothing, or move on and do something, because they say the best payback is success, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I chose to cry. I chose to do something. Like, I still went to the gym every day. I cried at the gym, but I was at the gym crying at the gym, not at home doing nothing. I was at the gym crying at the gym. And then I got over that, and I kept going and going and going. And then, just had to pull through. Um, there was this person that kind of inspired me, and he said one word to me. He said, overcome. We all have problems. Overcome. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, because I remember when my older brother died, he was my big brother. He was the one that got me, who inspired me to, because his fans he was a football player. He used to play football. He used to get the muscle max. And, when he died, I remember somebody told me, said, God is not putting no more than you can bear.
Yeah.
And and I knew I had to step up for my mom because the fact was, he was kind of the man of family. Like I like to quote one of my favorite movies, the Batman Begins, Dark Knight, where the Joker says to the guy, says, "My father was a drunk and a fiend. My mother didn't like not one bit." and
Yeah.
he stepped up at it, and when he passed, I kind of stepped up because I'm my mother's oldest son, and I'd take that spot. Here we have here is Neil Saydam, or is it Sudam? I'm sorry, I want to say his name, but I said, Neil, good to see you in action. She seems really nice, and you are generally a nice lady. I respect you ladies
Thank you.
who do what you do, and the thing is, like I say, we don't want to hold you up because I think you got things you got to do.
I got that doctor's appointment.
Yeah, and like I said, we're gonna wrap it up a little bit. And the thing is, you have anybody you want to shout out to, friends, family, whatever like that?
Yeah, I'll never ever in life, like, a lot of people help me and inspire me throughout the career. Like I said, Bonnie Priest. Um, man, Bonnie Priest was amazing. Don Long and his wife are just amazing people. I mean, they just work with purpose. Amazing people. My mother always standing by me. My mother flew to every show, just to be there.
Hi, mommy.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's so awesome.
Uh-huh.
She's
Yeah,
so
that's great. And that's like I said, my mother passed away about a couple years ago. I miss her, and
oh sorry.
she was my woman. She was my support, and I always loved her and what she did for us and us children. And that's the thing is, our mothers, especially for boys, is to quote another movie, Psycho. A boy's best friend is his mother.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, I remember.
Yeah. But anyway, folks, we like to thank Miss Jennifer Seda, Jenny from the block, a beautiful Italian Rican woman, and for her time, for giving us knowledge. As you know, I like to reach out to ladies like this because, these women like here who have, like I said, you had your boots on the ground, 10 toes down. And folks, like I said, you can watch the video if you missed it. You can comment, like, subscribe. Also, you can reach out to Miss Seda if you're interested about getting into shape or working out, or if you're a competitor and you want, also you want to sponsor or help out a competitor. That's the thing we wanted to promote on this channel. Also, here's my rule, fellas: no D pics. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. So, like I said, I can thank my man JM 2021, my brother Marcus Bell, Neil, and my brother King Clark Dale for coming through, dropping that like, subscribing, and commenting. We'd like to thank again Miss Jennifer Seda, and I hope you have a great day and the rest of the weekend. And before I end this, I will give a shout out to a lady who I've become friends with quite some time, Miss Mary Ann Wykowski. Today is her birthday. 50 years old, an amazing lady. She's a physique competitor.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank her. And for she did a couple of videos on my channel. And like I said, we'd like to thank you, beautiful Mamacita, for coming through and give us this time. Because my Spanish is mucho poquito. Mucho
Poquito.
Yeah, mucho poquito. Anyway, you're welcome. You're very much welcome. Anyway, this is me all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor. If you're about to talk, like, subscribe. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. And thank you again, Miss Jennifer Seda.
Bye.
Bye.